Hey everybody, welcome back to Giant Talk, the world's first OKR podcast. Really great to have you guys listening again. And this week I'm delighted to announce that we've got Mathieu Cognac, who is the Head of Strategy and Operations at Coursera, joining us. Welcome to the podcast, Mathieu.
Hi, thank you, Lawrence, for having me. Excited to be on the show.
Fantastic. That's really, really good to hear. So I believe you're calling in from San Francisco, is that right?
That's correct. I'm living in San Francisco right now.
And just like the vast majority of the rest of the world, we are both still in isolation. So we're both in our home offices, I suppose. Is everything okay with you guys over there?
We've been actually confined for 4 weeks now. Our company allowed us to be working from home a little bit even earlier than what the government asked us to do. So, first week at home. Right.
Okay. So we were saying just before we came live on the call, we're both quite lucky, right, that we can do our jobs from home, I suppose. You're managing okay?
Yeah, I feel like that we are privileged to be at least still employed in decent health and able to work and to keep our jobs. So far, very lucky to be in such a position right now.
Yeah, likewise. Cool. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Mathieu. You know, your background and who Coursera are and what they do and, you know, what you do there, I suppose.
Yeah, sure. So I, as you can tell from my accent, I'm originally from France. I've been working for 12 years, 5 years in management consulting, and 7 years in business strategy and operations. And currently at Coursera, I am the head of operation and strategy for our enterprise business. And for those who don't know, so Coursera is an online education platform where renowned universities and organizations make courses available online, which can be simple courses, certificates, or even degrees. We have quite a few degrees now on the platform. And what we really envision is a world where anyone, anywhere can transform their lives by accessing the world's best learning experience. And just a few numbers. So the company was launched 8 years ago by Stanford professors here in the Bay Area. And now, 8 years later, we have about 47 million learners on the platform and more than 200 companies or governments using it.
Wow, that's some serious numbers.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. We have seen, of course, over the past few years, more and more people going online, or at least complementing their education with these type of services. So it's really an exciting problem to solve. And during these difficult days right now, we are seeing that the problem that we are trying to address is even more important to solve.
Absolutely. Yeah, you guys couldn't be more relevant than you are right now, I suppose.
It's unfortunately or fortunately, but definitely it's this crisis has accelerated the need for people to think about both physical and online education.
Okay, so really, really interesting context then, both for what we're going to discuss, but also just for the current climate of the world. So when did you first come across OKRs then, Mathieu?
So in my previous company, we were managing the performance and of the organization through what we used to call value creation initiatives and value creation pillars. And we initially didn't have a lot of OKRs. We had, of course, overall objectives and goals, but we didn't call that OKRs. And then we had a set of large transformation initiatives that were the bulk of the transforming strategy into execution. And then some newcomers in the organization started to introduce OKRs for some of these initiatives. And that's where I first became aware of this concept and OKRs. And this colleague who started to introduce it really helped clarify and gain alignment on the goals for some of these initiatives. but I think that's where it stood, and it never went like full it never got really the full organization on board. So we stopped at a few initiatives, at least in my previous company.
Right. Okay. So were OKRs being used when you joined Coursera already? Because I know you've been there 6 or 7 months, right?
Correct. Yes, it's very interesting because ever since I've joined, I've been fascinated by the extensive use of OKRs at Coursera to help drive quarterly, annual, and 3-year plans. Right. The organization here is fully on board with the methodology, starting from the top. Just last month, our CEO was, for instance, recording a video on how to use OKRs and how to record them using a solution that a software solution called BetterWorks that we use to track OKRs. And truly at Coursera, there's full transparency on everyone's goals. And whether or not the employees use BetterWorks, at least everyone has OKRs in a document or a spreadsheet. So it's really interesting to see it being managed at a large scale, at least all departments, all functions from top to bottom.
Okay, so everybody's fully bought into it there then.
Yeah, totally. I think we really believe that OKRs help adapt and turn strategy into actions, and we have regular even training on how to think about OKRs, on how to make sure that all of these objectives are focused, create alignment, accountability, and how they should be action oriented, inspirational. So it's really a machine, and it's I think it's really helpful in ensuring this cross-functional alignment around the goals, making sure that we shift priorities very nimbly when need be. So no, it's definitely a widely adopted performance methodology.
That's fantastic, and it sounds like you've got some of the key principles down. But a little birdie's told me that John Durr is actually an investor and on your board of directors, is he not?
Correct. So John Doe, who, as many of your listeners know by now, is one of the, co-founder, inventors of the OKRs, and based in the Silicon Valley, he is one of the investors of Coursera and also part of our board of directors. So definitely there is an extra incentive for us to be adopting and using OKRs.
Yeah, so you would hope that if somebody's going to be getting most of the key principles right, it's the guys with John Durr on their board, I would say.
That's it, yes.
Can you feel a big difference then between how Coursera use OKRs and how they were being used in your previous organization?
Like I was saying, in my previous organization, it was bits and pieces and little pockets of people using OKRs. Maybe sometimes people using them without knowing that, without using the terminology of OKRs.
Right.
But it wasn't necessarily a widely adopted methodology. And then it would be difficult at times to know who had which goals. And sometimes you had a lot of effort of change management to make sure that these new initiatives got carried away and started. So I don't know if it was detrimental to the organization overall, but definitely there would not be as much transparency as there is now at Coursera.
Interesting. Yeah, it's really enlightening, I think, to see how different people use them and the different benefits that they get. And I guess that's kind of the point of this podcast as well, to share as many stories as possible with our listeners of how people are using OKRs and how they can be used to get different advantages. What I'm really interested in is how you guys have adjusted quite nimbly, as you mentioned just a few minutes ago, how you've managed to adjust quite nimbly in the sort of current climate with the outbreak of coronavirus, because you've actually opened up your platform to universities impacted by coronavirus completely free of charge, I'm led to believe. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. The benefit of being a relatively small organization is to adapt fast to changing conditions, and also we need to stick to our mission to support our business partners and help them continue their business. And therefore, when you have an organization that is full of passionate people around this educational mission, change can happen extremely fast. So obviously in December and January, when we had defined our OKRs for Q1, we had not anticipated that this crisis would become so pervasive and impacting everyone in the world, basically. But as we started to see some of our partners being affected by coronavirus, COVID-19, we put in, and even, of course, our employees and our customers, we put a few task forces in place. And just in a matter of 10 days, we launched on March 12th this offer to provide a platform for free, at least during a period of time, to impacted universities. And of course, that was not part of any OKR anything before. But since we've seen this this crisis, I think it was our best possible response to it at that time, and we keep thinking of new ways to also support all of our different learners or partners.
That's really interesting. So have you set any OKRs against that initiative to make sure that you've seen a successful impact from it?
Totally. So within the quarter, within Q1 last month, we put everything in place without having necessarily an OKR. But now, as we are working and as we finished the Q2 OKRs, almost the top priority for many people in the organization is around COVID-19, and it can be from engineering needed to support having more learners on the platform, or it can be our implementation teams supporting all of these new universities coming on the platform as well, to our executives as well, supporting it, to our website marketing team, making sure that we have all of the material online. So we are all on board, and top OKR for almost every team is related directly or indirectly to COVID-19 in Q2.
That's really interesting then. So you've completely pivoted what you were going to do to make sure you're reacting across the board to the COVID crisis, and your OKRs are shining the spotlight on that work. Is there any work that you've had to completely park and that you've just said, you know what, we're not going to be able to make any progress on this in Q2, let's just park it for now?
So what we try to do, of course, is to keep every part of the business running, and making sure that we still achieve the goals that we've committed to the board. But definitely there will be some areas of the business that get some deprioritization, or maybe get less attention than we used to have. It goes without saying that, for instance, we used to have a large conference in May, which has now gone fully online. So there will be less work into the preparation of a physical event, but now it's the preparation of an online event. And then there are some efforts that are now parked for later. But everything that is mission critical still gets supported.
Koan is a purpose-built solution for managing your OKRs. helps your team achieve their objectives and key results, helps them get aligned, and it helps them stay engaged. Shared spreadsheets simply don't scale when you're using OKRs properly, and you're not going to have a maximum impact with them. But with Koan, you can scale your OKRs right across your entire company, keeping your team super motivated and moving everybody in the right direction. Roger, what's one of your favourite features about Koan?
So the thing that I really love about Koan, and have done ever since I first saw it, was how it really puts the conversation around OKRs at the heart of the system, and it really helps stimulate that, which obviously brings really good collaboration. You know, they've got this reflections feature which helps individuals really prepare for the team conversation which is going to come up, where the collaboration is going to take place. So that would definitely be the thing for me, which is the killer feature of the system. And
have you done any sort of retrospective on your Q1?
Yes, actually we're still in the process of doing it, and obviously one of the key retrospectives is that now that with COVID-19, that we are pivoting to this top priority. Maybe just as not as an overall Coursera organization, but just for my team, some of the retrospectives that we've had in terms of Q1 OKRs is to make sure that as we define them, we also, and even before we publish them and make them fully available to everyone, that we work a little bit more with some of our business partners to make sure that they are fully, completely aligned. And like you mentioned at the beginning, I haven't been there for that long. So for instance, in Q1, we had not necessarily spent enough time with some of our different business partners, like customer success organization, to be in lockstep on these OKRs. But now, as we go into Q2, and as part of these learnings, the OKRs that I have personally and my team has, for this particular example, customer success, have also been fully discussed with our head of customer success, and my OKRs are my individual OKRs are also within their sheets and within the platform for them too. So that's one learning to also keep not only just be transparent, but also be more thoughtful as you define them and design them.
And have you had to adjust your company level annual OKRs at all, or have you just left them as they were?
So what we do is that we distinguish between different types of, goals. The company has planned numbers, meaning what we commit to the board in terms of revenue, in terms of a number of metrics, and that doesn't change through the year because that's based on the investment we've received and so forth. But then after you have goals that can goals and OKR that can adapt quarter over quarter. And for instance, if we were thinking of registered learners, the goal that we had for Q2 now will increase because there's been more learners going on Coursera because of COVID-19. So some goals, a lot of goals will adjust, and these OKRs will adjust quarter over quarter. But then the overall yearly plan numbers, they remain the same. And I think, for instance, teams like sales, they will have their quota set for every quarter and for the whole year. And these numbers haven't changed at least yet. And typically these type of numbers don't change throughout the year. But we're still navigating uncharted territories these days. So the future will tell whether adjustments need to be made, and of course we are having a lot of we will have maybe more flexibility and more understanding and more empathy if some goals are not met. But at least the overall plan numbers for the company haven't changed as of yet.
Okay, so that's really interesting then. So you are managing to keep some departments working towards the same goals as they were before. So you've not had to completely pivot everything.
That's correct. And And so at Coursera, you have different organization. You have the B2C serving all of our learners around the world. Then you have a B2B for serving all of our different companies. And then we serve as well governments and universities. And so when it comes to some of our revenue numbers for the enterprise business, there's a plan every quarter, and sales or customer success or the members of the go-to-market team won't have pivoting OKRs and because this is by the sheer nature of the business and the plan letters and how we manage compensation for these teams and how again we report our revenue to the board. That doesn't necessarily change or fit to OKRs perfectly.
That's really, really interesting. Have you had to react to changing demands from your customers and your clients in your OKRs for Q2, or are you a little bit more self-contained in that you can just service the needs by being quite self-insular, I suppose, instead of reactive? The advantage of having a platform is that when customers have higher demand or need more like licenses and so forth to serve their own organization, that can be done very quickly. What we've seen though is a lot of demand for consultation and curation. So some of our customers now being much more inquisitive and asking a lot more questions on how we can best support them and what are the best courses and so forth. So we have a team that specializes in supporting these customers. So now they are prioritizing the most impacted customers and universities. So that's definitely an important shift that we've seen, and then overall we are still investigating how we can best support some of our mostly impacted customers because some might not have any budget now. So we don't know yet what will fully be launched, but at least what we've really focused on in the past few weeks was to support our universities. And actually our CEO was on Yahoo Live just earlier this week, and a few numbers that he was mentioning publicly is that we've received 17,000 inquiries from universities to have more support, and we've already launched on the platform 2,000 of them. So you can imagine how the implementation team and how the success team have been pivoting, or at least in addition to their daily work, have also supported this team. So it's been quite a grind for a lot of team to fulfill our mission and to help our partners in the past few weeks. I can imagine, absolutely, and it sounds like you're reacting to it really well. So that's great to hear. So I guess finally then, Mathieu, you've seen OKRs used in your previous organization. You've seen them used at Coursera, where you have John Durr, perhaps the most famous name in OKRs, sat on your board. You're out in San Francisco, which is, arguably the birthplace of OKRs. What's the one piece of advice you would give to an organization that was about to get going, or perhaps is just coming to the end of their first quarter or two with OKRs?
I think it's really thinking about what's the current state and what's really been not working perfectly right now for the organization, and really being able to assess and having this awareness of what's not working, so that you can use OKRs to address this particular issue. Because sometimes companies can go into OKRs without a clear diagnosis of what's the problem to be solved. So I think that would be my number one piece of advice. And then, of course, in addition to that, there's a couple of key learnings that we always need to think about, such as having an executive sponsor, starting simple. We don't need necessarily a tool for when you start. And also, you can also start with one department, one quarter at a time. And really thinking about, this is change management as well, because if you don't have it, if you didn't have OKRs before, then you will require some, middle management sponsor, champions. You will require a lot of mindset shifting. But if you did the work of like, what's the issue and what you're trying to address and where do you want to go and how OKRs will help you, then you can explain this rationale and you can justify the implementation and you can have an executive sponsor to back it up. And that, in my opinion, can make your OKR journey easier.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that is fantastic advice, I've got to say. Especially around the executive sponsor, I think they're vital to have somebody at the top level who's really backing this and pushing this incentive for you throughout the top layers of the company, but also supporting you and giving you the time and resources you need as well to make sure this works.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
So, Mathieu, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure the listeners will have taken a lot out of today's podcast. I've really enjoyed it. And make sure things keep on going well over in San Fran and stay safe.
Thank you, Lawrence, and have a good rest of your day, everyone.
Cheers. Yeah, absolutely. Have a great rest of your day to all our listeners. Thanks again for tuning in. And make sure you catch us next week for our next episode. Cheers now. That's been Giant Talk, the world's first OKR podcast. Bye.